Bom dia, mi amigos and amigas. Good morning, my friends. This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian. Hope you guys have been having a good week. I apologize for the way I look. I've had an interesting night. Yesterday, my son's daycare called, and he had a slight fever, and of course, we were able to go and get him and take him home, and then later on that night, he developed another small fever. So just erring on the side of caution, we took him to the emergency room, and he's great. Little small ear infection, everything's good, medication, all that good stuff. Anyway, what I really want to talk about in the few minutes that I have, I'm kind of trying to get to work in this rain to make an appointment, and I look probably really, really tired. That's because I am. Didn't sleep but about 3-4 hours the whole night. Anyway, I want to talk about child support. Recently, there was a video that was shared where a sister suggested that the gentleman that she had a child with was struggling with his child support payments. Now, interestingly enough, as opposed to running down to the authorities or the court system to have them to enforce his negligence concerning the court order, meaning have him arrested or whatever, she said that she decided to take a different approach. And that approach was unlike something that I'd never heard before. Now, I've heard people just saying, you know what, I'm just taking him off child support because he's, or she's in some cases, providing more for the child than even with the court order. So it's kind of a moot point to have this person being regulated when they do more unregulated. But this particular sister had him. She said, well, what I'll do is I'll help him get his truck driver's license, and I'll help him to be able to provide for our child. And I thought that was refreshing, because I know that, in the time that we live in, a lot of people always harp about deadbeat dads or deadbeat moms. They do exist. And I think they mean that from the perspective of somebody that knows they have a responsibility, understands they have a responsibility, but refuses to do anything to meet the needs of that responsibility. That's one thing. But there are situations where people who have been put on child support forcibly. There are some states here in the U.S. where you can literally just put somebody on if you live with them for a certain amount of time, the court will put you on child support if you decided to walk away from that situation, be it married or unmarried. That's true. Some states have some insane laws concerning cohabitation and children, even if the child isn't yours, which is weird, but it happens. So I don't know if any of you guys who are listening, or sisters, have ever been on child support. When my son's mother and we got a divorce, I was placed on child support, and I remember the amount was it was not very much. I don't want to brag or anything or sound like I'm flexing. It wasn't very much because it was relative to what I was making. I'll say it that way. And so what I would do, as opposed to paying it every month, I would literally go and pay via money order to the court system through the postal service every single week. So I always was ahead of the game. Now, interestingly enough, she and I decided we wanted to give the marriage another go. I was taking off child support, and I didn't have any arrears or nothing like that, because I was always ahead of the game. And once we got remarried, I was taken off, everything was good. Well, by the time we unfortunately got divorced again, my son was about to graduate. Literally, he was a month from graduating from college. So it was, at that point, it was definitely nothing that they could do. And, so it was a done deal. But I said all of that to say this: be careful who you procreate with. There are some good people here, and you know, and there are just some good people who they look at co-parenting as it was intended. Both, too, like estamos juntos, like we're together. They look at it conozco, together. They look at it two people trying to bring up two people trying to create a perfect situation in an unperfect world, and sometimes that can be difficult. I know many cases where people have used their children as pawns. They say, well, you know, we know that you have special days, we know that you have things going on, and we don't care, but because we don't like the fact that you're no longer with us and you're with someone else, we're going to make your life hell. We're going to go to the court system every single month. If we see that you've gotten a new windshield wiper blade, then in our minds, well, your income has increased and we want a piece of it. Not that they necessarily want a piece of it, it's just that they want to make your life hell. A lot of brothers have gotten their licenses suspended, their passports taken. I mean, the child support laws here in America are like, I mean, it's like you're walking around with a target on your back if you're on it, and if you are connected to the wrong person. So if you are out there and this is you, and you are with, I hate to say the word crazy baby mama or crazy baby daddy, and you are the one on child support, you just want to take care of your child, you want to have your life, enjoy the life that you have away from this particular person while trying to attempting to raise your child together. I know that's kind of difficult. Just do the best you can and make sure that whatever you do, and this is kind of difficult sometimes, the issues that you and the parent might have, if at all possible, shield your child away from that. Because as a child myself, yeah, I was a child, there are certain things that you remember that never go away. And I'm not saying I had a bad childhood. My childhood was great. I grew up with my mom and my dad. Now, my mom and my dad, ultimately, they got a divorce, but I was about to graduate high school, so I've been living in a co-parent house longer than I have not. So I understand a little bit of both dynamics. Fortunately, my mom and my dad, they had a relationship to where even when things disbanded, I mean, I didn't see any weirdness or anything like that. Everything was good. Maybe that's an abnormal situation, but for me it was normal, and it was definitely better than the things that I've experienced and seen in today's society. So hats off to that sister. I don't know who she is, but I think that when people can put aside their petty differences and really understand the gist of support, and that is two people getting together to support the upbringing of one child or two or three child, or how many you all might have, and raise them in the best possible way, despite the situations, and to make them into a productive member of society. I also saw something about this way, and it's not funny, but it kind of goes a little bit along the lines I was saying, what I'm talking about. This one sister rather, and he was a preacher, and his wife, he left his wife for another woman. She said that they had a child that had passed, which is definitely unfortunate. They had two children, minors, that were still around, and he decided he wanted to just leave the family. And what I took from that was, there may be some truth to everything that she was saying, but there's always two sides to every story. I heard somebody say something that despite the flatness of a pancake, it still has two sides. And so I would be curious to see what would be his side, because I understand sometimes as guys, you know, we have needs, we have things that are important to us, and if we feel like those things are met, not justifying any infidelity or anybody's never justifying that. However, in some situations, people just say, you know what, forget that, I'm out. and they just go and they do them, as they say in today's society, and leave a whole host of collateral damage behind them for people to pick up the pieces. But you have to ask yourself, what takes a person to that point? They say about insanity is not a place that you don't arrive at insanity, you're driven there. Somebody takes you there. So, man, I definitely hope things work out in that situation. And if you're in a relationship and you just feel like, you know what, man, I want out of this situation, I don't know. I've been there. And sometimes the best thing that can happen is, I was about to say the best thing that can happen is that you can have a conversation and attempt to be rational, but that's only one side. You can do that. At the end of the day, when you leave, people are gonna say whatever they want to say. So sometimes, I don't know, relationships are kind of interesting that way, especially when you have one person seeking to destroy the other person's character, be it child support, be it just two people deciding to go their separate ways. But in any event, my initial point was, if you are in a child support situation and it's going good, great. If it's not, hey man, my heart goes out to you, and I hope in some kind of way you guys can coexist. The child can be shielded away from the madness, and you who are the non-custodial parent, the pay person, definitely can take care, can handle your business, and not put yourself in a situation where your liberties are taken away, where you're subject to almost 13th Amendment type laws, where you're almost a slave in a free society. So in any event, this is your man Larry, the American Brazilian, saying "Até a próxima." I'll see you on the next one. Tenha dia abençoado. You guys have a blessed day. It's raining here, so if you're where I am, drive safe. If not, enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you on the next one. É verdade.